Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining my live stream. So glad to see so many of you already in the chat. Lots to talk about. As always, if you have a question, please put it in the chat and please start it with question in capital letters. That just helps me to pick out what is a question. So I have just got off of a ship. I wasn't on a cruise. I was just on a little press launch of Brilliant Lady, which is the newest Virgin Voyages ship. So I haven't been on a Virgin Voyages ship since 2021. And before that, I had only been on the press launch in 2020, which did not go so great. Thank you, David in here says, oh my God, Emma, love the haircut. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. Yeah, lots of questions about Virgin Voyages. Very interesting cruise line. I think a lot has changed since 2020. For the first time in my life, I go to a lot of cruise ship events, a lot of conferences. I've never heard a cruise line say we made mistakes ever. So that was really nice. But Virgin said they made some mistakes at launch. They've changed pretty much everything that was something I didn't like in that initial review. Not because of my review, but they have changed most things. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'd like to cruise with Virgin Voyages sometime. Right. If you do have a question, please, can you start it with question? I love seeing everybody chatting. It's so nice that everyone knows each other and has done for so long. But I could just stop and read all your comments the whole time, but I don't think you want to see that. Thomas says, is Virgin all inclusive? So not all inclusive, but pretty inclusive. More inclusive than pretty much any other cruise line. So they have no specialty restaurants. So all of the food is inclusive. They include soft drinks. So for me, that suits me really well. I don't really drink that much anyway. And they include Wi-Fi, which is unheard of. And their crew get Wi-Fi, which is kind of unheard of in the industry. It shouldn't be. It should be the norm, but it is not. So, you know. Any tips on cruising from Portsmouth? Well, I just drove into Portsmouth, got on the ship, and then came home again. So I didn't see anything of Portsmouth. But I really like Portsmouth. If I could cruise from Portsmouth more often, I definitely would. It's nice. I've been there mostly I did my Virgin Voyages cruise in 2021 from there, and I did a saga sort of naming ceremony there, I think. But yes. David says, did you get invited to the Star of the Seas event? No, I did not. I don't really know anyone who did. I think Royal Caribbean go for a different kind of market. I don't think they really invite many cruise people who are already in cruise. They tend to go for like family, food, all other kind of creators. Would you go on Scarlet Lady again? Going on that ship in a few months, and I know your experience wasn't great. Do bear in mind, though, so I went on board in 2020. We had a press launch. The weather was terrible. The gangway couldn't get up. We were delayed. We missed lunch. There was no food till dinner. I was very hungry. That's one of my main memories. And it was just pouring with rain. And I think the ship just wasn't ready then in 2020. Like, some of the things in my review are like, it is so hard to turn the lights on in the cabins. But then I found out later they hadn't finished installing the tablets. So it wasn't me. I just couldn't find a way to turn the lights on. So stuff like that is all sorted out. They haven't changed the actual physical ship that much, Scarlet Lady. So, I mean, what can they do? They can't really make the swimming pool bigger. They have done on Brilliant Lady, though. So I think they're listening. They have also added things like they've added more storage. The soap is still black in the bathrooms. I don't know why. But yes, I would. I had a good cruise on Scarlet Lady. So I did a 3-day one after the pandemic, the kind that goes nowhere, just ran around in a circle. And it was good. It was good fun. But it doesn't really feel like those cruises were really quite different from what cruises are like now. So I'd like to do it again. Yeah, my dad's in here. Thank you to my dad who says, if you have a question, please start it with question. Yes, if you can, that would be amazing because that's what I see. That's what my eyes are kind of looking at. The bit with the comments is really small on my screen. I wish it could be bigger. I don't need to see myself so much. I prefer to see your comments, but I see myself. Noticed a lot of videos about gratuities lately. Where do you stand? I wish cruise lines would just include them in the cruise fare. I love the cruise lines that do that. I don't see why it's my job to pay the staff. Like, the cruise line should pay the staff, right? But it's just not how it is at the moment. So when I see it, if there's automatic gratuities, I just see it as part of the cruise fare. It's just split out. I wish it wouldn't be split out, but I just see it like that. So yeah, Most of the British cruise lines include gratuities. I know we're talking about Virgin. Virgin include gratuities, which is good. And P&O do. If you book an MSC cruise from the UK, they do. Marella do. So more and more are, I think. But yes, it's very different for a Virgin, for an American cruise line to not have the daily gratuities. But I like it. Yeah. Yeah, Lou says prepay and then give extra. Yeah, I think if people want to do that, that's great. John says he can hear me and someone else says they can't. Hopefully, if none of you could hear me, hopefully I would know by now. So fingers crossed it's all right. Jamie finally made a live. Nice to see you, Jamie. Potato for the engagement numbers. Thank you very much. I still get comments about potatoes years after I made a very offhand comment on a live stream saying how it doesn't matter what you comment on any of my videos. It just helps that there are comments. So if you just want to say something about potatoes, you just want to say what you're having for dinner, you just want to talk about something that's not even in the video, it doesn't matter. Just type anything. It really helps. And I do read almost all the comments. Like I try my best to keep up with them. It's kind of hard sometimes, but I try. And I do, you know, sometimes in my videos, I'll write in the description whatever important links that I've said in the video. And at the end, I'll have a keyword like giraffe or something. And then I try and look for those because it really makes me laugh. And it's nice that someone's read all the way down and then, you know, made a bit of effort. Did we get a final count on the first mate Rolos? It was just over 1,400. So I've put Rolo here and here up on my shelf now. And yeah, they're being made at the minute. So once they're made, they'll be shipped out. And that'll be so exciting. It'll be super cool. I like this comment that says, Emma, you continue to be relevant. It's because I'm doing different things every single week. So things change and I change. Did you like Roho and was it significantly different from Razzle Dazzle? It's nothing like Razzle Dazzle. The only thing is that the room is the room where Razzle Dazzle is. Like that's the only thing. It is a Spanish restaurant now. It's definitely the type of restaurant that would be a specialty restaurant on another cruise line. Definitely. I think the food, for me, Virgin, the main thing is the food and also the soda machines. That suits me really nicely. And there's not really any dress codes. It's super casual. So that side of Virgin suits me. The side that makes me a bit more nervous is the sort of, what is the word? Sort of interactive, immersive, I think is the word, immersive entertainment, because I'm terrified of audience participation. But if I was on a regular cruise, I would just sit at the back. I would sit on the top level and I would be fine. On this one, though, we were on board for a day. It was a press launch. When you're on a press launch, you get a schedule. This is where you go. This is the show you see. These are the seats that are reserved for you. Front row, right in the middle. Terrified, but it was fine. It was okay. I know most people don't feel like that, though. So, yeah. Love your t-shirt. Thank you very much. This is my Cruise Globe t-shirt. So I wore my Cruise Globe t-shirt on the day trip, which was very handy because most people say, oh, hi, where are you from? And you sort of get challenged people. And I can just turn around and be like, the Cruise Globe. And if anyone forgets and they see me again, then they'll know where I'm from. So obviously the Cruise Globe, it's a website. It's free. So we're trying to get the word out as much as we can. So if anyone would like a t-shirt, Emma Cruises is my discount code, as it is for everything. Whoa, So you on Virgin Voyages, you chatted with me and seemed to be a very lovely person. Oh my goodness, thank gosh. That's so good. I hope you enjoyed your day. It was really fun. It was so busy that day. Yeah, I spoke to a lot of people for a very brief amount of time. Barely sort of sat down. But yes, I'm glad you enjoyed. Enjoyed? I'm glad you enjoyed me. Glad you think I'm lovely. That's good. Jack says, heard an advertisement for Viking cruises on the radio. Have you taken a Viking cruise? I have done only a very, very small portion of a Viking cruise in 2019, maybe. So a long time ago. Interesting comments. Thank you so much to the moderators who look after these chats. I really appreciate it. Yes, Sam says, Will the Cruise Globe cards be available to be bought for pre-2015 cruises when they become available? So yes, the way this works, for those of you who don't know, so the Cruise Globe is a free website. You can add all your cruises on it. You can see all the routes, where it went. You can play little animations. You can see where ships are live, everything like that. And we have just added these physical cards to Cruise Globe. So you can see your cruise there. This is one that I did. So I'm going to focus on it. But there you go. That's the real route that we took with little loops and stuff. Where we got on, where we got off, how many days, 609 nautical miles that one is. But at the minute, the data only exists from 2015. It's never going to exist before because it doesn't exist. But what we have now is we have hundreds of thousands, literally, of cruises since 2015. So what we're going to do is we are going to mock up, if someone tells us they went from here to here, we know 99.9999% sure that this is where it actually goes. So we're going to be doing that very soon. Like, I don't want to, I'm not the person who's finishing this, so I don't like to say specifically the time, but like this summer, and summer's almost over, so this summer. And once these cruises are in Globe, then you can get any cruises in Globe on the cards. So here are a collection of mine that I have, which is very cool. These are the ones we've been using for all the photos, so I need to put these ones into my album. But yes, the answer is yes, in short. It would be a good app. It would be good if the app worked in reverse. You get everyone on the ship and then you draw a route for it to follow. That would be amazing. I don't think any captain is going to agree to go on a route that the passengers have drawn. I think that would be cool though. Yes, going to order a card for my Harvilla trip. They collect and reuse our card for that line. I did keep my Harvilla card, but it is just blank. It does just say Harvilla on it. So that is the nice thing about these. Obviously, I keep all my cruise cards as much as I can anyway, but some of them are very plain. Like this one, for example, it says my name, it says the ship name, and the dates, and that's about it. And if you compare that to, this is the exact one. So you can see we went to Bruges, but this bit on the side, that is not on the itinerary, that loop. Like, that's not on the website at all. So it's much easier to sort of, we made it look like a cruise card on the back. Yeah. Yes, Sam says, that's what I was holding out for. My plan is to do a big bulk order of cards when pre-2015 are available. Yes, watch this space very soon. Couple of weeks. It'll be all good. Yeah, P&O needs to up their card game. Yes, some of them are really boring. I think my favorite ones, maybe, this is a Fred Olsen one. I think that's quite nice. Do you think that's nice? It's pretty. But some of them are just boring. My recent Morella one's just white, which is boring. Christmas cruise is planned this year. I don't have a Christmas cruise planned this year. No. I don't. No, I don't. I don't think I'm going to either. I think I'm going to have a very low-key Christmas this year. Will you be adding random loop-de-loops for pre-2015 cruises? We won't be. So that's the thing. If there is a detour like this one, we will know that a cruise from Southampton to Bruges always goes the other way, but it doesn't exist. So like that is the best that we could do. So yeah. First time catching the live stream live. Woohoo! I can reply in real time, which is pretty cool. All of these live streams, by the way, if you are watching this live, they're all available to catch up on. So you can watch my ones from 2017, I think my first one was, onwards. Which is awkward for me, but it's probably fine for you, probably. Oh, Jackie's in here. Nice to see you, Jackie wrapped up our river portion of our tour and we're on the bus back. Amazing. That sounds so good. Morella ones were blue. Yeah, they used to be blue. They're not blue anymore. Sorry, Jamie. They did used to be blue. They used to look like this. This is one of my old Morella ones. I don't know if they ran out of blue ink, but they're just white now. Or my most recent one was anyway, so we'll see. Great question. If not for your job, would you take an internet package? Absolutely not. No way. I think it's really fun to not have access to your emails and work. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy not having Wi-Fi. So no, it is expensive. Depends on the cruise, of course. Maybe if I was doing a 7-day transatlantic, then I might. But if most cruises I take, I don't have more than one sea day at a time. And being out of contact for one day is fine. It is fine. It's good. It's nice. So yeah, I wouldn't. Bernard says, what are the wait times like in the dining areas on Virgin? I can't really say. I don't know if anyone in the comments knows more about that than me. You do book for a certain time, though, so I can't imagine that there is a wait. You just book. It's almost like a ship that is full of specialty restaurants, if that makes sense. Oh, Daniel says, do you know that we're proud of you and the rest of the Cruise Maps team? Thank you very much, Daniel. It's so nice. Oh, cute. Oh, yeah, that's just nice. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. I don't have another winter transatlantic planned. No, I haven't got any transatlantics planned. Thoughts about a med cruise in February and March? I love them. I love them. I've done Mediterranean cruises in January, just after Christmas. I've done them in November. I love them. Any time of year. The weather is better than it is in England. Depends where you're coming from, of course, if you think the weather's going to be good or bad. But for me, the day is longer. It doesn't get dark at 4 p.m. I'm not exaggerating, by the way, when I say it gets dark at 4. It does here. In summer, though, the sun is up until like 10 p.m. So, yeah. How did you find the Virgin Voyages app? We didn't use the app. I don't think the app was on. It was just a press day. Everyone was a travel agent. We were on a schedule. It was more like looking at the ship, them tell you what they've changed, go to the theatre, and they give you a talk about stuff. So, yeah, it's not like a cruise. I want to do a proper cruise for sure. Do you prefer the freestyle cruising like NCL or making reservations on Virgin? Good question. I think I prefer freestyle because I never have to wait because I like to eat really early. I do think if you're someone who wants to eat at 7:30 or 8, that's kind of the busiest time. And if you're going to like an NCL main dining room, you might have to wait. But I've never had to wait for dinner because I'm always there when it opens at 5:30 or 6. So I think that works for me. It just depends on you, I think. Do you think it will be a good ship for Alaska? They have made a lot of changes that seem very sort of outward facing. It's hard to know based on one day on board, but they have made, some of the glass on board, they've sort of changed it so it's easier to look out. I think it's going in that kind of direction, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure on Virgin you have to book all the restaurants because the booking, it goes live before anyone gets on board and you have to sort of be on it and book, as far as I can tell. Nice Britishism with 5:30. Yeah, we always say 5:30, 5:45. That's how we say things. 6:30 sounds very precise. 5:30 sounds like, what time will you be there? I don't know, 5:30. That kind of thing. Yeah, Kevin enjoys early dining. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know. I think it doesn't really make a difference because people who eat late, they just eat more earlier. And I just eat dinner and then eat again normally before I go to bed. So it doesn't matter. Grace says she missed when I answered what I was doing on Brilliant Lady. So it was before even the press cruises, it was like a press day. So we had one day and then the next day there was more press on board. Right now, there's friends and family of Virgin, which is nice that they do that. They do that with friends and family, and it's going over to New York. So then it will start sailing out of there. But I think I was probably the first person to sleep in that cabin, as far as I know. So that's pretty cool. Oh, David says, if you say 5:30 in Norwegian, you're actually saying 4:30, 4:30. I think that's the same in Germany. It's quite confusing, isn't it? Like in the comments, I get questions asking what I mean, but it's always afterwards. 5:30 is 5:30. Neither makes more sense, though. They're both exactly the same. Yeah, eat early so you can have late night cookies. Exactly. I did have Virgin Voyages cookies. That's like the little time that we had in the buffet. Got a cookie. It was great. It was very gooey, very soft. Love it. I do think Virgin do food very well. Jamie says they should put up a blue plaque in the cabin that says, as slept in by Emma Cruises. That would be very funny. I think someone said that on Facebook recently. I remember reading it. It would be funny because you could work out every cabin I've been in. So when I come back, I do say the cabin numbers and I do put the video it says. So you probably could work it out if you wanted to. But Most people would not know who I was, and that would be a bit weird. They'd be like, who? You could put, Captain Hudson was here, that kind of thing. That would be cool. But yeah, that was the day. So it wasn't a cruise, but it was a interesting insight. There's certain things like Virgin have very quirky beds in their cabins. They were designed to turn into a sofa. And originally, when I first went on board, it kind of, when you go in the cabin, it's set up as a sofa and then they turn it into a bed at night. And I think now they just leave it as a bed unless you request it to be put as a sofa. Yeah, I don't really love that, but who knows? I don't think I'm someone who is particularly. I don't socialize in my cabin, really. If I'm going in my cabin, I'm going there for like a midday nap, and I want a bed. I don't want a sofa. But yeah, really good to see. Really sort of. It's nice to have something different in the industry. It's great. It's adult only. I love that. And yeah, those soda machines in the buffet would suit me nicely. There's some really weird questions in there today. It seems to go in waves. I think when I get a video that goes outside cruising, like outside my cruise audience, then it brings people who have weird questions. Anyone been on Aqua, NCL Aqua? I have. I've been on Aqua. We had so much fun. It was busy. I did all the scary things, the aqua coaster. It was so fun. Oh, comment just says that my reviews are very soothing. Thank you. I get comments every single day about how annoying my voice is, so it's nice to hear someone thinks I'm soothing. That's good. Oh, Greg says, who doesn't know who Emma Cruises is? The vast majority of the world, and I quite like it that way. I never wanted to be famous. Are Hudson and Rolo friends yet? Well, I think friends is possibly a strong word, but they can sit together on the sofa and Rolo will have his tail touching Hudson, which I think is pretty good. Or they'll sit together and like if one of them moves, obviously they'll go away. But I think that's pretty good for a cat and a dog. They're not friends. And Rolo thinks they're best friends. Hudson just takes some time. Or any top tips for my first Electric Sunsets cruise on Morella Voyager in November? So I have done 2 of the Electric Sunset cruises. These are the 90s themed cruises, and they are busy. They are tiring because you don't really want to sleep because you don't want to miss things. And do check. My probably top tip would be to check when you get on, see what the schedule is, and often there's 2 really good things happening at a time. So you will end up sort of running to something else. I assume it's a short cruise as well. So yeah, just rest up beforehand and see as much as you can. It's really good fun. It is good fun. Yeah, Hudson is a good big brother. He is. He is the calm, he's an old man now. He's calm. And obviously a puppy came into his space, which is very full of energy. So Hudson's done really well. Like, very proud of him whenever I see him sort of chilling with Hudson and Rolo together. Like, proud of you guys. You're doing really well. So yeah, happy. I see a good question from my dad. Would you still do a drop water slide if your ship had one? Yes, I would do that. I've only done the drop slides that aren't water. And everyone assumes that they are water, so they always ask me why I'm wearing jeans on a water slide. It's not a water slide. I think I prefer the not water ones though, to be honest, because otherwise you have to go to your room, get changed, you sort of have to plan, then it's closed because of the weather or something. Whereas the one that has jeans, you're like, well, I'm going to go down to the local on deck 8. Should I just go down the slide? Yeah. Just see you at the bottom. It's quite cool. What is my favorite country and my favorite cheese? Oh my goodness. My favorite country to visit is Japan. My favorite cheese, probably halloumi, I think. Can't really go wrong with halloumi. Are Norwegian cruises more expensive when they have only just been released? So generally, no. I would say cruises are cheapest when they've been released sort of 2 or 3 years in advance. And then cheaper in the last 2 or 3 months, but it depends how well the cruise is going to sell out. If it's going to sell out, it will never get cheaper than it has at launch, generally speaking. But there's a lot of things that can change it. It's just supply and demand. Supply and demand. Oh, Sam says just ordered a Globe T-shirt. Thank you very much. We're really hoping that, you know, I mean, I would love to meet other people on cruises wearing these T-shirts. I think it would be really cool. And hopefully it'll just sort of get the word out there. We're not spending money on advertising because we don't want to charge people to use Cruise Globe. So we're sort of hopefully relying on people liking it, which is good. That's the best way to run a business, right? We want people to like it. And we're just building everything that I want in there, which is good. It is nice. Never heard of that kind of cheese. Oh my goodness, I ate a lot of halloumi. It's hard for me to pick a favorite restaurant on Virgin Voyages because it has been 4 years since I was on board and I was only on board for a short time. I do remember the pizza was very nice and the ice cream is very nice. All the restaurants were nice, but yeah. Oh, Jamie says that t-shirt looks really comfortable and high quality. Would be great even if you didn't like cruising. Very true. Yes, it is very. It's nice and long. I like a long t-shirt, and it's very comfortable. Yes, very. Oh, I love feta cheese. Nice. Me too. Me too. There's not many cheeses I don't like. I have not done a trans-Pacific, no. I tend to book cruises that have 2 or less sea days. That's kind of what I would like on an itinerary. Yeah. I think you wore a sundress on the Aqua Coaster. Is swim attire not required, or was that an exception for the industry cruise? So I was wearing a swim dress. It is made of swimming costume material. You wear it in the swimming pool, so it was a swim dress. That said, though, other people were wearing leggings. Some people were wearing almost coats because it was so cold. So I don't know what the rules are particularly on that. I don't think the rules were different because it was an industry cruise, though. So the only difference was we were allowed to take cameras on there. Most people aren't. Big ships or small ships? So I have been on ships that have 7,000 guests, and I've also been on a cruise on a ship that has 19 guests. So that's kind of my range, and I loved both of them. Very, very different. The biggest difference, I think, is the bigger the ship, the more the ship is the destination, and the smaller the ship, the more the destination is the destination. So the one I did that had 19 passengers, that was a cycling cruise. It was a bike and barge cruise. That was amazing. But that was, you know, have breakfast, get off, be off all day, cycling, meet your ship again later, go off again in the evening. It's not about, you know, you're not going to go ice skating on a ship that's that small. Versus when I was on Symphony of the Seas, one of the big Royal Caribbean ships, if that had sailed nowhere, that would have been totally fine. I still don't think I would have had time to do everything on the ship. I didn't. So yeah. Thoughts on blue cheese? I'm not a blue cheese fan. My mum says that she liked the brown cheese that I brought back from Norway. Yeah, my friend David in here told me about that type of cheese from Life in Norway. Interesting type of cheese. Oh, after years of making videos, is it getting harder to come up with new Britishisms? No, I would say, if anything, it's probably getting easier because it's just based on what people ask me. So other people find the Britishisms. And when people watch the videos, they tell me what I'm saying. And you guys tell me on the live streams. And then when you tell me, then I put it in the video. The only thing is, obviously, I say a lot of things and don't explain them. So I get so many comments that are like, squash should be the Britishism of the week. We've had that so many times. So it's kind of hard not to repeat because people want them repeated. But I try not to. I try and do, there's so many ones that I can do. Would you do another Disney cruise? Yes, but I'd want it to be a proper Disney cruise, I think. Not one that goes nowhere like the last one I did. Any plans to sail on Star Princess? Not really. I've done a lot of princess cruises. I like them. But I feel like I've done quite a lot of princess lately. So yeah, there's just so many things to do. I'm sure I would enjoy it, but just so many other things. Oh, so many other things to do as well. Not a blue cheese fan. Yeah, it's good because if we ever share a cheese plate, you can have the blue cheese. That's what you want, right? If Hudson went on a cruise, where would he like to go? I don't think I'd get him to the cruise port, to be honest. I think he would make those sad noises that cats do when you put them in the car, and I'd turn right around. So he would not like the heat, and he wouldn't like the cold. So I think his ideal cruise would just be staying at home, to be honest. But he really likes those crinkly toys that are like tinfoil. So if you could get lots of those in like a ball pit, that would be his dream. Yes, yeah. I'm not sure about the Norwegian cheese. It was interesting. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. So many comments about cheese. My goodness. Yeah, Australianisms. Yeah, we would call these flip-flops. We wouldn't call them thongs, but quite often the Britishisms, Australians are the same, or in Canada you're the same, or half and half sometimes. A British Isles cruise for Hudson. Yeah, there we go. British Isles cruise for Hudson. A nice easy one. Sam says, which cruise lines have soda machines? Enjoyed it on Royal Caribbean as a kid, mixing flavors and not having to queue at a bar. Royal Caribbean do it best. No other cruise lines do it quite like that. On Virgin, I saw some this week, but still, it's not to the same extent as Royal Caribbean. Norwegian have some sometimes where you sort of tap your card. Marella do, but Marellas are like in the buffet because Marella are an all-inclusive cruise line, and it will just say diet soda, soda, lemonade, orangeade, that kind of thing. It's not like the Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke and all those combinations that you can get. Disney as well, yeah, but I still think Royal Caribbean do it best. Would you be brave enough to do a Katy Perry and go weightless in space? Yeah, I think that would be fine. Not top of my to-do list, space particularly. Lots of other things to do. MSC had them, but not everywhere. Yes. Sorry if rude. Not a rude question. You should see. Well, I don't want you to see the rude questions that I do get, but do bear in mind, you only see on public internet like the tiniest percentage of the questions I get, and there's a lot in the hidden folder. But this is not rude at all, so thanks for asking. Do you make enough to live on from YouTube, or do you have another job? So yes and yes. So I co-founded a company called the Cruise Maps. We have physical prints like this. We have a free website called the Cruise Globe, and on there we sell. This is the Disney cruise I was just talking about, actually. So this is the Disney cruise that I took. That's the route. Told you that it went nowhere. So yes, so I have that company that I co-founded. We also have all kinds of other things going on, working with travel agents, Captain Hudson books, raising money for charity with these Captain Hudsons, these First Mate Rolos. I have a Patreon. That's a big reason about why I was able to leave my 9-to-5 job. My website is just as much of my time as my YouTube channel. So yes. Sort of comment that says, why do I have a crown? I don't know. But back to this one, if you do want to see sort of how my business works, totally get that it's really not the 9-to-5 job that I used to have. Just go on emmacruises.com, type in income, and then I sort of break everything down there. So yes, hopefully it's interesting. Wish the soda machines in IKEA worked. I haven't been to IKEA in a long time. I would like to. Besides your phone, what cameras do you use to record your videos? So 95%, I'd say, of the YouTube videos you watch are on my iPhone, almost entirely. I do have an Insta360, which is, if it looks like I'm using a drone, it's a camera on a stick. That's what it is. And when I'm at home and I'm recording my at-home videos, I have a proper camera. It's a Canon something, and I've had it since the beginning of YouTube time, since I started my YouTube channel, and I have no interest. I don't want to travel with a proper camera. And my iPhone does more than I could ever want. So yeah, YouTube is a lot more work than people think. It is, but if it wasn't, then I guess more people would do it, right? So in that way, it's kind of good, I guess. Have you ever used a drone? No. Would I? No. I don't think so. I don't really want to be in charge of a drone. Maybe in the middle of a field somewhere. But not anywhere important. There's so many rules, there's tests, it's complicated. Thank you to my mom for sharing the link. Appreciate it. Yeah, getting that camera was a canon event. Ha ha ha. Very funny. But yeah. Do Virgin have solo cabins? They do, and they have solo cabins with balconies, as far as I know, which is quite rare because most cruise lines just have inside cabins for solos. Oh, I saw a question about my drink. This is white grape and peach squash from Sainsbury's. This is one of the best drinks. Will you be giving up cruising for coal mining? Not anytime soon. I don't think I'll pass the interview. Based on the fact I could barely lift up the equipment, let alone use it for 8 hours. So, no, I don't think so. It's very purple. The drink isn't purple. The drink's down there. It is sort of a cloudy color, but it's not purple. Will you ever go back on Ambassador? I think so. If we're predicting my life, and I'm looking back, sometimes I look back at my old videos, and yeah, I think I'm pretty confident I would say yes, maybe. Could you include the ship name in your reviews? It will make finding older reviews easier. I really can't include it in the title, and I can't include it in the thumbnail. The way YouTube works, it just doesn't work. Like, if I do that, then only 1/100th of the people would see it as they normally do. The way YouTube works, though, you don't need to do that because it is listening to every single word. So when I say it in the first paragraph, it knows if you search for a certain ship, it comes up even though it's not in the title. So, yeah. Do you not crave the mines? I thought the phrase was the children crave the mines. And I don't crave the mines, no. It was a great excursion, though. If you haven't already seen that video, that one is on the Norwegian Cruise Line YouTube channel, and that was really fun. It's one of my favorite excursions that I've ever done. I like stuff like that. Thank you to my mum for sharing a link. Yeah, I have loads of guides like this. We've been writing, oh my gosh, since 2016 on that website. So there is a lot on there, How do you bring squash along with you on a cruise? I saw that question on a Princess Facebook page and remembered it when you mentioned. Yeah, I bring the little diluted ones. They're like this big, and you only need like a little squeeze for a whole drink. So yeah, I might bring maybe 1 a week, 2 a week, like this big. They're so small. How did you get the courage to stop your steady, safe job and go for the thing that you love? So I think timing was an interesting one for me. So I started my website 2016, started a YouTube channel 2017, worked on that just in my weekends, my spare time, while I was on my lunch break, sending emails and everything like that. And then the pandemic happened. We came to work from home for 2 weeks, and the company I worked for, they didn't even give us a computer, a screen, a mouse, a keyboard, a chair, nothing. Like, we had to use our own equipment. And then I just thought, I've kind of lost my loyalty to this company because I've given you 6 years of my life and you won't even give me a mouse. And that kind of annoyed me. So I started sort of building a business in the dark because everyone said we would never cruise again. Sounds kind of sad, but I sort of had to guess when the cruise industry would come back. Thankfully, it did. So I had a 3-month notice period. I resigned on January 1st, pretty much, and I had to work until the end of March. And then we started cruising again in May. So that was good. Obviously, I saved up money so that just in case YouTube deleted or something, I'd have some buffer room, but still scary. Scary. Since 2016, your page is coming up for its 10th birthday. It is. How will you celebrate? I don't know. Let me know. That's going to be so weird. 10 years. Literally grown up on YouTube. Oh my gosh. I mean, my website used to be called Cruising Isn't Just For Old People.co.uk. But, yeah, pretty outgrown that name. But anyway, at that point, I had my only responsibilities were a cat called Hudson. No one knew Hudson back then, but he only costs a few pounds a week to feed. Worst case scenario, I'm an adult. I'll get another job. I'll look after myself. And the main thing was looking after Hudson, and he's a cat, so it's not that much. But yeah, very lucky I don't have to look after anyone else. So I could make that decision. Do you think Virgin would be good for a young couple or a more mature crowd? Thinking of Virgin for my anniversary. So when Virgin first launched, this is one of the things that confused me about Virgin so much, because they didn't say it, but in all of their adverts, everyone was 20 years old and absolutely fit. Like it looked like you had to be like an Instagram model, or I don't know, but that sort of age. It looked like that's what they were going for, and they were planning to charge a lot of money, I think, at the beginning. And my main thing was, I don't know who is this young who has this much money for a start, and I'm just confused. So that's where I started. They did talk about this when we were on the new ship, Brilliant Lady, and they said their average age is like 46, which I think the industry average is 47. So they have a pretty normal sort of range. Do keep in mind, though, they're adult only. So there's no kids that are bringing down that average age. So yeah, mostly people in their 40s, 50s. There are people in their 20s, the end of their teens, and 30s, I guess. But it's not what we originally thought it would be, which makes sense. I don't know why anyone thought that that's how it would be. But yeah, I would say I feel like everyone is welcome and would enjoy a Virgin cruise. I can't really imagine anyone who wouldn't. They did say they have people on there in their 90s, and they have people in there who are, teens, adult teens. That makes sense? It's 18 plus, right? Yeah. Yeah. Virgin seemed not appealing. I'm not uptight. Yeah. There were some things that Virgin sort of did at the beginning that I think gave that impression, but it's just not how it's really worked out. Yeah, it's certainly not a particularly old person's cruise, but anyone can cruise on them. So yeah, I have seen lots of reroutes due to hurricanes. If you want to see any of the ships where they are, go on the cruiseglobe.com, type in the ship, and you can see a bit of a history. So you can see, where they've gone around in circles and stuff. And I find it so fun. So fun. Definitely a cruise ship nerd. I have cruised the Danube, yes, but not for a very long time. For a very long time. I did one with Saga, the 50 plus cruise line. Press trip, of course. There's no way I can book on that cruise, but I took my mum on that one. It was good. Towards Romania. Yes. It was good. It was nice. We had a river day on that cruise, which was, I didn't know river days were a thing. I've never taken a river cruise that has a river day. And it was good. It was very relaxing. Virgin cruises are a bit spenny though, so that limits who can sail with them. Yeah, I don't think they would ever call themselves a budget cruise line. They sort of describe themselves as being casual luxury, and I think that makes sense. It's casual in that it's not dress codes and formal nights and that kind of thing, but it definitely is luxurious in that this is a very small thing, but on the sun lounges, they leave the towels there. On a lot of the mainstream cruise lines, you have your towels, and that's your towel, and that's it. And on the more luxurious ones, just pick up any towels that you want. I've never done a Nile cruise. No, never done a Nile cruise. What do you do on a river day on a small river ship? Eat, read a book. Normally they have swimming pools. They have little spas on there sometimes. You can get your hair cut. There's still a lot of things that you can do on a river cruise. But mainly just chill out, which I think is pretty good. Yeah, I do have videos on the Saga one a long time ago. Long time ago. But check them out. It hasn't changed that much. I think there's some pretty good prices on the Virgin cruises, to be fair. I don't think I would need to spend any extra money at all, because the soft drinks suit me fine. Wi-Fi is that's the most expensive thing that I buy on a cruise is Wi-Fi. I've spent thousands on Wi-Fi, so yeah, I don't think I need to pay anything else. Yeah, it's interesting. Any plans to cut your hair again for charity? No, twice is quite enough shaving my head. I don't want to do it again. Don't make me. We raise far more money now with the first mate Rolos and the Captain Hudson, so I don't need to shave my head again. I don't think. Thanks, James, who says, can you start your question with a question? You can, please, because then I did pick this one out above all of the others. So yeah, that would be really good. Really good. Oh, it says Emma posted an excellent essay on seasickness last week. Yeah, I have all of those kind of things on my website. So if you want to know about seasickness, you want to know about, casinos or money or ocean view cabins or obstructive view cabins, I think I have covered everything that I've ever had a question on on cruising in the last however many years. So yes. Awaiting my first mate Rolo. Yes, it should be. I think we've said early October. They normally come faster than they say, but it's better that they say that and then we're all pleasantly surprised rather than disappointed. So they are being made right now. They're being made for the orders, which is cool. What is the longest cruise you have done and how many days do you like the best? It's different for me now because I'm running a business on board. So I can and I do keep up with things like Zoom calls and meetings while I'm away, but there's certain things that I just can't do when I'm on a cruise. So I have to get home and catch up with my work. So for me, I don't really do cruises more than 7 days. There's not really any benefit for me. I can do everything I want to do in 7 days. If I wasn't working, then probably 7 to 10, I think, is ideal. I have done a few 2-week cruises. They're nice. Probably 7 to 10, I would say, I think. I know who Hudson is. He's a cutie, but who is Rolo? So Rolo, if this is Hudson, this is Rolo. He's my dog, who we adopted last year. He's a street dog. He's from Romania, and we're raising money. Yep, you got it. For the charity that rescued him. So the shelter that he came from, they have had 16 puppies that they found this week, and they were talking about how much puppy milk costs, and that's the kind of thing that we'll be raising money for. So I don't know the exact amount that we've raised yet because I need to work out how many get returned, or maybe one goes missing and they need to send another one, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure on the exact amount of money, but it is going to neuter a lot of dogs, which I know is not that glamorous, but we need to stop there being street dogs that need feeding, right? And vet bills and food and all that kind of stuff, because Rolo is the best. Like, I've never had a dog before. It's changed my life. Never going to not have a dog again. Love him so much. He's so cool. And he is not best friends with Hudson yet. He wants to be, but Hudson tolerates him. And I think that's the best we're going to get, which is good. Interesting comments in here. Thank you so much, everyone. I do try and read these afterwards. I can't read every single one during the live stream, but I do my best. Ken Goes Cruising says, which river cruise line would you recommend for a first-time river cruiser? I would almost always recommend TUI because they are half the price, if not less, of any other river cruise line. And I think for someone who's a first-time river cruiser, the things that you're interested in are, am I going to like how long we're sailing for, where we dock? Am I going to like having 2 restaurants instead of having however many from an ocean cruise? So you get all of those things. You get to see all the sailing. The difference really is it includes less. You don't get excursions included, and you only get drinks included with meals. But for half the price, like, I'm looking at booking a river cruise again soon. I have done some, but I'm looking at booking a TUI one again. I did do a very luxurious one with my dad, which was very cool, a Uniworld river cruise. I've also cruised with Emerald, I've cruised with Saga, and the rest are with TUI. But when I'm looking personally, I'm looking at TUI. So curious as what the number 2 next to my username means, says Andrew. I don't know, to be honest. I can't see it. I use a third party here. I think it's something to do with how many comments or something you do. I have turned off super chats here. I don't want that. So I don't think it's to do with that. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've turned it off, so I can't see it. I can't see it. I just got to trust you. I trust you. Dogs are the best. Yes, they are pretty cool. If Virgin wants to paddle steamer, they could call it Lady of the Lake, Paddle of the Lake. Interesting. Can Americans book TUI? Yes, they can. Only, as far as I know, only through the US travel agents that I work with, because we have spent a very long time getting that set up. It's still not perfect, but you can't book through the website. So if you book on my website, emmacruises.com, it's the same thing, but we just need a US travel agent in there. And I don't know of any others that are set up to do it because it's been a lot of work. But yeah. Jack says, I started today with number 1 and now I see others with it. Interesting. I don't know. There's so many different things on so many different platforms and I try and keep up, but it's very hard. You know, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm doing Instagram stories, I'm on Facebook, we have a Facebook group, I'm on Threads, I'm on everything. So it's kind of hard. Thank you to my dad for sharing the link. Appreciate it. I do share every week. I do a newsletter. I normally send it after this live stream in the evening. I'm going to send one this evening. And it has my top deals in it that I find. So if I see, you know, a really cheap Princess cruise or a Norwegian cruise or a Marella cruise or a Royal Caribbean cruise, whatever, I share like a few in there. If you do like them, though, click on them and book them because I always get messages a day later, 2 days later. It's gone. It's more expensive. I know. It goes fast. So just is what it is. But if you don't get my weekly newsletter, please give me your email address because I'd like to email you and just go to emmacruises.com/news. It costs me a lot of money, far more money than you would ever think to send you these emails. So I think that shows how much I would like to send them to you because it actually costs me money to send you emails, but I want to. So yeah. Are vets in the UK as expensive as they are in the USA? I don't know how much they are in the USA, but I'm pretty sure, yes, they're pretty expensive. The rescue, though, it's in Romania, so the money does go further in Romania than it does in the UK anyway. But I think dogs everywhere need food and deserve vet care. What are vets? Like a doctor for an animal. What is your favorite film? That is a big question. I'm gonna have to narrow it down to my favorite Christmas film, which is Elf. Oh my gosh, $1,400 for a dog's tooth extraction. Wow. That's a lot. The numbers are the top fans. If you click the crown and number, it will give you a list. But what counts? What counts as a top fan? Is it number of comments? Is it like most times I click on your comments? I don't know. Strange. Question, why is Elf your favorite Christmas movie? It's just great. It's everything about it. I love it. It's everything Christmassy. I think I probably watched it at a good time when I was a kid, and I like it. That's it. No other reason needed. Someone who talks a lot, apparently. Interesting. I think it's the number of comments. Who knows? It would be good if it did it for all time. Because I do know there's many of you, I recognize your names, who have been in here with me for years. There's people in here who came to our cruise trivia that we used to do every single week during the pandemic when none of us could cruise. And you're still here. And I'm still here. Who would have thought it? Not me. Not me back then, anyway. Not that I was going to go anywhere, but I didn't realize you'd still hang around. Too much Will Ferrell. I have a 15-minute limit per movie. See, the thing is, Elf is the first place I ever saw him, so to me, he's Elf. So when I see him in anything else, I'm like, why is Elf doing this thing? Rather than why is this man playing Elf? Top 39 people in the top fans list. Interesting. You're all tied. Who knows? My dad says the best film ever is Life of Brian. It's a pretty good film. Yeah. I do also like the Christmas Carol, I see. I like the Muppets Christmas Carol. That's a good Christmas film. Bring back cruise trivia. It was a lot of work, and every single time I did a cruise trivia, it got less views, and I lost more subscribers than when I did a normal live stream, so I don't think it really made sense. It was good fun while the pandemic existed. Can you please, if you're watching this, just check that you're subscribed, because every single time I do a live stream, I lose 5-10 subscribers. So if you can subscribe, if you're not already, I appreciate it. I'm not taking it personally. I just think people get reminded of my existence and then unsubscribe, which is totally fair enough. I honestly wish YouTube would get rid of subscribers. I think it's kind of a pointless number. I wish it would show you how many people are watching per month. I think that would make more sense. So, hey ho. What do you find are the best motion sickness solutions? My wife tried Bonine and still got sick. So Bonine is my go-to now. I have never found anything that works as well as that for me. So maybe I don't have an answer for you. I have tried the patches. That was terrible. I have tried the wristbands. I've had the electrocuting wristbands. I have done everything, I think. But nothing works as well as just booking a cruise that doesn't have many sea days. That is the top tip. Don't book a cruise that goes across big expanses of the ocean at times of the year when the weather's probably going to be bad. Don't go into the Arctic Circle in March. I've done it. Don't do a transatlantic in January. I've done it. Just book a cruise that doesn't have that many sea days, and you're very, very, very unlikely to get any bad weather then. Ideally, book a cruise that has no sea days, and then you'll only be sailing overnight. And you're not going to go that far. You're not going to be that far from land. And you'll probably be fine. I mean, most cruises, I'm a very travel sick person. I take travel sickness medicine if I go in the car for 2 hours. I probably take travel sickness medicine because I do feel ill. I felt ill. I had to come back from Portsmouth from the visit, and I stuck my head out the window because I didn't feel very well. So I'm a travel sick person, but I still 98% of the time on a cruise don't feel ill. So don't worry. Do not worry. You'll probably be fine. Don't drink loads. I think that's not a good thing to do. Don't eat so much that you feel sick and then you get shaken around. And yeah, just generally book a cruise that is in when the weather is likely to be best. You can always hit a storm, of course, but it's just, yeah. Also, book a cabin in the middle makes a massive difference, and further down and in the middle, and then all will be well. Yeah, my dad says take the pills early. Yeah, when the captain, normally if there is going to be bad weather, the captain will say on the announcement thing, not on the phone, on the announcement thing, the tannoy, that's a Britishism for you. On the tannoy, they will say, we're expecting bad weather tonight, it's going to get worse or something like that. Take the medicine then. Don't wait. Don't wait and see how it is. Take it, and then you'll be fine. Ginger biscuits. Yeah, I did bring ginger biscuits when we went on the Harvilla cruise together, me and David from Life in Norway. I think it was just an excuse to eat ginger biscuits, though. That cruise was totally fine. The ferry one, that was great. I also took a cruise to see the Northern Lights with David, and that was the worst seasickness that I felt. But also that was on an old ship. It was March. I think I might have been ill, like genuinely just ill, apart from that. So who knows? But I'm still cruising all the time. So yes, not enough to put me off for sure. Worst experience with noisy cabin neighbors. I've never really had terrible cabin neighbors. Sometimes I've had cabins where you can hear everything. You can hear someone sneeze, literally, but they've never been terrible. I could hear some people next door when I was on, look at this, when I was on my Morella cruise, but it was kind of just interesting, quite nosy sometimes, just listening. Oh, the XP points are based on your comments. You get 25 points per comment to a maximum of 3 per hour. So for one live stream, you don't get very much. Continuous live streams may get you more points. Ah, I see. So maybe that's a new thing. So maybe you have to keep coming, keep commenting, and getting points. And then when you get points, you get absolutely nothing. Apparently. Sounds good. Jack says, another wonderful hour with Emma. Next week, it'll be my lunch hour, but I'm home today. Recovering from a heart attack 3 weeks ago. Oh my goodness, Jack. Hope you are feeling better. Look after yourself. Hopefully this is calming and good for you. My mum says I've lost my crown. Nice. That's funny. Who knows? But yes, it is almost the end of the live stream. We have a little bit of time. If you have any quick fire questions, please get them in as soon as possible. Reminder for the t-shirts, the code is Emma Cruises if you want a discount. And that is for everything across the cruise maps. That is our prints. I'm going to put up my other prints here. That's why they're not here. But if you want a print like this, if you want our album, if you want a bottle, if you want the cards, whatever you want, Emma Cruises is the discount because it is partly my company, so I can do that, which is very cool. Do I like the Princess Medallion? Is it buggy or have they got it sorted? I've not cruised with Princess in quite a long time, so this is based on what other people tell me, but I do think it still has some issues. As as far as I can see from more recent reviews. I don't think it is perfect. When it works, it is amazing though. So I have ordered cookies to myself and they have come to me, which is amazing on a cruise. So fingers crossed. I think it's a great idea. It just needs a bit of work, maybe. Who knows? If all the cookies in the world vanish, what is your backup biscuit? Custard creams, jammy dodgers, those smiley faces. Lovely. Do you prefer a cruise card or a wristband? I prefer a cruise card because a wristband doesn't fit very well with my collection of cards. And also, I broke the Virgin one on the first day. I was only on board for a day. But yeah. So in here, there's my cards. I need to add the rest. Can you get a Labubu? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Smiley faces. No, not BNBNs. Smiley faces that have like eyes that it's like a custard cream in the eyes and then it has jam at the mouth. I think that's right. Do you have a wristband tan line? I think I have a tan line from my watch a little bit. Yeah, there we go. A little bit. Jammy Dodgers has to be the Britishism of the day. It makes me very sad to think there's people that don't have Jammy Dodgers. Can't imagine that. They're so good. They're so good. I remember them. Yes, they're good. Normally, if you get like a Christmas selection box, you know, £3 or something, and it has all the different types of biscuits in it, those ones will be in it. They're always my favorite. They're super good. Oh, David says, great live stream. I tell everyone I've met about you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, right. That is the end of the live stream. Thank you very much, everybody. I will be here same time next week, I think. So hopefully I will see you again then. All right. Nice to see you all. Bye-bye.